In today's episode, the Wall of Champions claims another victim in Montreal as we go for a little spin and a half in what is going to be a very chaotic Canadian Grand Prix. Let me tell you, this might end up being the best and most chaotic race of the entire season. And that's saying something because last time out, we already had some insane action as we saw an airborne Cadillac get vaulted up upside down. And we had a ferocious fight with the two Williams Porsches as we tried to go long on a set of soft tyres, and it was an iconic little scrap with the two Williams, I gotta say, through turns 1 to 2 to 3, and we gave it a good go. But ultimately, Tsunoda got his second win of the season, and very nicely, both Williams Porsches level on points now going into the Canadian Grand Prix. So after the really tough start to the season for Tsunoda, he's brought it back, very much so. But we're leading the way with Antonelli. Somehow it's kind of gone under the radar, but that's because obviously Verstappen's had a bit of a tougher time since those first two great races. Obviously, I say tough time. Last time out, he recovered from last place, P22 to 7th. That was so impressive, just showing how good he is. And I still really think Verstappen is the one to worry about this season because I think McLaren can give him a car that's better this season, and he's clearly firing on all cylinders. But we're leading the way because of our consistency, which is great to see, as we are going to swap over from Piastri to the man that leads the championship to hopefully continue his reign on the top since last time out as we go to the Canadian Grand Prix.
It is time to go qualifying in Canada. A historic track. Looks simple, it's anything but. Welcome to Montreal.
Now, obviously, usually Montreal is very happy hunting grounds for yours truly. One of my favorite tracks on the F1 game, let alone F1 itself, IRL. But we know the Jaguar car has not been the best in a straight line, and definitely in terms of overall qualifying pace has not been quite there. You know, a bit of a slower turning, really having to wrestle the front end, and that was quite clear in the last chicane on this first run in Q1, a very overcast Q1, I gotta say. So, you know, was worried maybe if there's some rain. There wasn't any forecast for rain, but we'll see. But it's very doom and gloom. But we're through in P9, Piastri P13. That's not a great first sign in Q1, but at least we're not Yuki Tsunoda, because off the back of a race win, he's out. He's out in 17th place. What's happened there? Aaron's 10th place, 11th, sorry. So it's not the car. Tsunoda's just not got the lap together. And so he's gone from a race win to 17th place. In a way, it sums up his season so far. Just up and down, roller coaster of emotions for the Japanese driver. And he's going to have to make a recovery drive now in the race in the same way Verstappen did. I guess, you know, it's a rite of passage in a way. You know, Verstappen's done it. Maybe at some point, well, I mean, we've already done it with Piastri, I guess, in terms of recovery drive. You know, it's definitely been one of those seasons. It seems very chaotic on a Saturday, and it means that more than likely, I think all the title protagonists will have to do some sort of recovery drive at least once in the season with the way things are going, because quali is just so up in the air. You know, shot Q1 and Q2 exits, and right now in Q2, Verstappen's under pressure. He's outside the top 10 as well as other drivers, so he needs to get this lap in. Obviously, had a back of the grid in Spain already, so he's already done it once. You know, for his sake, let's hope he doesn't have to do it again. Gasly also another one outside the top 10 for Red Bull Forza. He's having to go again and make sure he delivers as well, and others also under pressure. But Red Bull and McLaren, clearly two cars that will be expecting, or you would expect to get into the top 10. The same for Mercedes maybe as well after initial great pace, and he's not done it. He's not done it. Gasly has. Verstappen has not. Verstappen is not. Lando Norris did it as well. Lando into the top 10. Gasly as well. Verstappen, P15. Lance Stroll made it into the top 10. But Verstappen didn't. Speechless. Speechless. That's, in the words of Piastri, absolutely speechless. I don't know what's gone on there for Verstappen. That's a howler. He's just making it more work for himself, isn't it, there? Because the car's clearly got the pace, because Stroll's up there. So really, you know, in relative to Stroll's pace, Verstappen should be fighting for pole. if Stroll's up here in P7 right now on the first laps here in Q3. That's devastating for the Dutchman. So, two of the big names in the season so far, Tsunoda and Verstappen, having to make recovery drives then here in Montreal as we cross the line for the first time. It's only P6. Not the best first lap from me. A lot of understeer in turn 1 and not the quickest through in the final sector. So, having to try and find some time, but on our second run, it's a new set of tyres, so we're not hampering ourselves here, but we just couldn't find any more time. In fact, we lost a bit of time in Sector 1 there. We're clawing it back a little bit in Sector 2, but by the time we get to the last chicane, we're only narrowly up on our first lap time, and that last chicane was quite slow. Understeer hampering us. We go 2/10 slower. For me, around Canada, that's a really poor lap. That's really not great. P6. Piastri outdid us. Piastri's not been a great qualifier this season, but he's outdone us by 4/10 nearly. So he's third. It's an all-French front row, which is quite apt because Montreal's, well, correct me if I'm wrong, quite a French-speaking area in Canada. So very apt for the area we're in of here in Canada. So Gasly on pole. It's another Red Bull pole position. So Red Bull yet to win a race, but they've had 3 poles so far in the season, haven't they? So they're going to be a bit frustrated and wanting to convert a pole to a win sooner rather than later. Ocon in second, Albon fourth. Ferrari showing some genuine good pace here. And we've got a little bit of work to do to catch back up to Piastri then from P6, I suppose, as we go to what will be a very interesting Canadian Grand Prix.
It is the second largest French-speaking city in the world and home since 1978 to the Canadian Grand Prix. Welcome to Montreal. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. A fantastic effort from Pierre Gasly yesterday puts him on pole position, with Esteban Ocon alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Albon, Colapinto, Andrea Kimi, Antonelli, Aaron, Stroll, Norris, Lawson and Carlos Sainz, Solov, Bortoletto, Oscar Piastri, Pepe Marti, Verstappen, Martins, Yuki Tsunoda and Zane Maloney, O'Sullivan, Barnard, Doohan and Jack Crawford rounds off the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes. Alongside us for this one is Naomi Schiff. Now, those final hours before a race, did you have a routine?
Well, every driver certainly has their own way of preparing themselves before a race. But I can tell you that pre-race rituals are a real thing. When I was in go-karting, I used to touch every wheel in a specific sequence before I got into the kart. And then I stepped up to kart and had a specific set of fireproof base layers just for race day. So watch the drivers when they're on the grid. Some may be sitting on the floor and isolating, others may be up to other things that they do. But these little things really help their minds get ready for the race.
So before we get into discussing strategy, a very peculiar development, if you are paying attention to the grid sequence here, you'll notice we're 1 place higher than we actually qualified because Oscar Piastri, not for the first time, has taken a grid penalty as an AI teammate of ours. He did this in Jeddah and he's done it again, and I've checked the components. Nothing's worn out. Nothing's worn out at all. So this is a very weird choice that Piastri's side of the garage is making for a second time. Whether they're trying to protect the parts or being overcautious, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with Jaguar and his side of the garage. Who knows? But this is a very strange development. And so he is way down the order now, and he's also got a difficult race on his hands. So kind of all the important figures in our championship so far, Verstappen, Tsunoda, Piastri, down the order. We've got a good chance here, but I think, well, clearly Red Bull and Ferrari are looking very quick, being 1-4 and 2-3 here respectively. Can we try and break their deadlock today around Canada as we go to 5 red lights? And we're underway here in Montreal. It's a good start, surprisingly, for Albon on the hard compound of tyre. We've tried our best to make something work into turn 1, ultimately actually losing the back end and a little bit of contact on the rear end probably with Colapinto. Gets that warning for collision, and Colapinto sends it down the inside. It's a very, very good repass, I must say, from Franco, and we had to kind of just accept our fate there on the outside. And so in the end, we end up where we started after Sector 1 in P5. The Red Bull of Pierre Gasly still leading the way from Ocon. Albon, after the initial great start on the hards, obviously now is slowing, and Colapinto and I will be gaining. But look at behind, Lance Stroll now setting a purple lap time on lap 3 here. You know, he's the lead McLaren after Verstappen's dismay in qualifying. He's fighting Aaron a little bit, but Stroll is doing a really good job, you've got to say, actually, for his home race, as we are all over the back of Albon. I say we, Colapinto is right now. I'm trying to just keep up with him and kind of be prepared for the move to come. Oh, it's not going to come. It's not going to come anytime soon. We've made a mistake. We've been watching Colapinto hunting Albon way too much. Should have been paying attention to where I was placing the car. We've dipped a tyre into the grass, and that's half spun us, and we've lost 2.5 seconds to Colapinto now, and we're under pressure from Lance Stroll. Oh dear, is this going to be karma for all the times I've been bagging on him in the commentary this season? He's overtaken us with ease. The McLaren is by, and Stroll's actually showing that that McLaren does have some genuine good pace in the tank, but obviously Verstappen consistently is able to get that extra few edges. But you've got to say, recently, Verstappen's been on the back foot. You know, this is 2 races in a row now, having to make recovery drives. You know, Spain wasn't his fault. That was an engine penalty. But, you know, today, he just didn't do the job, obviously, yesterday on Saturday, and right now he's struggling in the traffic in 14th place as we're going to try and repass Stroll on the inside. But it's a bit of a Houdini trick from Paul Aaron, who makes a double pass on both of us. And so I'm left just baffled. I've made an overtake and I've not gained a position because Aaron has completely done both of us on the racing line. It's a clever move from the man in the Williams Porsche up in P5. Meanwhile, his teammates equally with Verstappen struggling. I mean, Piastri, Verstappen, Tsunoda together, P13, 14, 15, and they're all finding it difficult to make a move. And, you know, this is case in point. Colapinto, it's taken him 5 laps to finally get past Albon. And in the reverse of that, the Ferrari's actually the one making the move on the Red Bull forward for P1. Ocon is through on his fellow compatriot. The 2 Frenchmen swap positions. The Ferrari leads. Obviously, they had a bit of a surprise shock win in Monaco, but this is on pure merit and pace. The Ferraris are 1-3 because Albon's repassed Colapinto as we make a very similar move to the one Aaron did on us as we go to the outside, swing across up into P5. But yeah, Ferrari, they're back. They're back, you got to say, because this is genuine pace from them. The rest of the top 10 is Aaron, then Norris, Stroll, Sainz, Lawson rounds out the points, and then just behind is the BWT Haas, Bortoletto. And then look at this, Piastri, our own teammate, fighting Verstappen, the man who had been focused on in the championship, was leading up until the end of last race, where we took the lead as Antonelli after some consistent driving so far in the season. We're looking to continue that consistency, of course, right now. But Aaron is also just there. He is just putting on the pressure. Yes, we're closing back up to Colapinto, but Aaron is there waiting in the wings. Stroll now seems to have fallen off a little bit. He's below Norris in P8 as we look to try and make the pass on the Red Bull. Doesn't go defensive, leaves the door open, and we are just able to get through. We had to be very, very cautious on the turn in because I wasn't sure if Franco was going to chop us off or not. And Aaron actually now goes for it, and the Red Bull is falling away. Colapinto started off quite strong, aggressive, but now Aaron on the outside gets the traction, and the Williams Porsche is into P5, and the Red Bull is falling away, at least for Colapinto. Gasly's still doing pretty damn well to be half a second, 3/10 behind the race leader, so still some fight to come from Gasly, but not from Colapinto. It goes from bad to worse from the Argentinian driver. It's now a chocker block into turn 2, and Norris, Sainz caught up in it, Stroll as well. It's pandemonium. People going across the grass. It's become a Tesco car park here in Montreal, miles away from the UK, but still always Tesco car park. I don't know why. For some reason, I always just say that brand of car park. Any car park is suitable in your vicinity. But Yes, you get the point. Absolute mess into turn 2 with Colapinto spinning it. And that has caused a safety car. Stroll's now benefited. He's back up to P6. Piastri 7th, Tsunoda 8th. So Piastri and Tsunoda have both benefited massively, whereas Verstappen, he had already pit before Colapinto had that spin. So Verstappen gambled early on an undercut pit stop and has actually come out as the biggest loser here, because now everyone will get a free pit stop. Verstappen is going to be fuming in the cockpit. You know, having had such a great recovery in Spain, that's awful for him. That's really going to be a tough one to take for him, as we're in, everyone's in. But I've been a bit stuck. I have to go on hards. I have no medium tire to go on to. I checked my heads-up display. I've got no medium to go to. I'm not going to go to a soft, because I feel like that's just not the way to go. So we have to go to a hard tire. The Ferrari's double stack, which I was happy about, but we've had a slow pit stop. 5 seconds, 5.5. So we've lost out to Aaron, but gained on Albon. So swings and roundabouts. We've ended up still being in the same position, really, in terms of P4 to Colapinto being out of things now. Yeah, that's a bit frustrating for us. Not on just the mistake side, just the tyre choice side. We're on hards. Ocon's also gone hards. But others have gone for a second set of mediums, which is odd, because I'm pretty sure I had on the tyre allocation, I thought I had it so that I would have 2 sets of mediums for the race. I guess I was mistaken, but others, AI rivals of ours, do have a second new medium to go to, so they've gone to that one, and I think that's the better way to go, because I don't think we can get to the end on this hard. I think we'll have to make another stop. At least I know the guys on mediums, they're going to have to make another stop as well, just to change compound, so at least we're all in the same boat in that way, but I would have much rather have done a more aggressive 2-stop, you know, medium to soft, but it is what it is. We're going to have to just get on with it, and the same with Ocon on a hard tyre on this restart. And you saw I was quite eager at the hairpin to try and get alongside Aaron, but frustratingly, we're having to wait until the start-finish line, so we have to go through the final chicane and then wait for that line, and it's a long run here, so we get alongside Aaron. We have to lift off on purpose to get ourselves ready, because we got a momentary illegal overtake warning, so a little bit frustrating there, but we do make the move eventually on the outside, although the Williams is there on the inside, but we are going to get the traction ultimately and get up to third and make use of maybe those mediums not fired up yet, but they are going to fire up pretty soon, and Aaron is going to come down the inside. He's there in the mirror. We have to go a little bit defensive, pinch him a little bit. I'm trying to keep up with Ocon, because he's on the same tyre as us, so if we're going to overtake anyone else in this immediate first phase of this second stint, it's going to be Ocon. But Aaron, we know how quick that Williams Porsche has been in a straight line. We know how generally quick the Williams is in a straight line, but I think more so now with the Porsche engine, they've got even quicker in a way, and obviously we've gotten slower from last season to this season, and so Aaron sets a purple. We're squeezing him to the inside, and we're denying him the overtake, but he is clearly the quickest man on track now. The stopwatch doesn't lie, and he's going to come through on the inside again at the hairpin. This time actually catches me a little bit unawares, but mid-corner, do you see that? Aaron pinches himself in a bit. We kind of gave him the room to work with, but we just bolt out of that corner. And now we've got a second of breathing room in third, and instead Albon is attacking Aaron. So Albon and Aaron swapping positions and finding each other, as it's still Gasly who leads the way, but only 0.2, 1/10, it might be 0 on Ocon as he goes around the outside at turn 1. It's a fantastic attempt at an overtake for the lead of the race. The Ferrari can't quite do it, but this is turning into an absolute classic here in Montreal between two fellow compatriots. Meanwhile, it's a devastating day for Colapinto and the two Mercedes cars. Obviously, both Mercs got caught up in Colapinto's spin. Verstappen, remember, being caught out with that early pit stop. He's recovered to 15th place, but he'll still be really annoyed. He's nowhere near Piastri or Tsunoda, because those two were right near him, and they're now up in 8th and 10th. And then look at this. We're focusing on Taylor Barnard in the Audi. The Audi is in the top 10 right now. Your eyes don't deceive you. Martin's as well, and the Cadillac is P7. So very quietly, this race has turned into a bit of a banger in terms of so many out-of-position drivers in the top 10. You've got Cadillac and Audi vying for points, and you've got Barnard in the Audi. What has he just done? He's just overtaken our teammate. What is Piastri playing at? What is happening? Clearly, the engine penalties were needed for Piastri because his engine's still in the mud, or something's going wrong with his car. I wonder if it's a car issue that's going to be a bit temporary and might go away. And whilst I've been talking about that and lamenting that, Ocon, you would have seen, has overtaken Gasly and has pushed away from him. Ocon on the hards, remember. Now that hard tyre is probably the quicker race tyre, and I am also catching up to Gasly. We try to go for the move on the outside, doesn't quite work. Gasly actually is very smart with that defensive drive to just make it very awkward on the inside, whereas now Martins has just got the overtake on Stroll. The Cadillac is up to P6. Of course, Cadillac was running in a top 3 in Catalonia and then had that crash, so maybe this is payback for Spain. Cadillac did deserve to score some points last race. Maybe this is their turn, and maybe it's going to be Audi's turn as well, with Barnard still in P8. Verstappen is actually gaining positions. He's into 13th place now, so slowly but surely is Verstappen getting up the old. It's another spinner. What's going on here in Montreal? No one's got rear end grip. Aaron is round, and now, it's another chock-a-block, and Martin's just got finessed. What? Stroll just ghosted through Aaron and overtook Martins. That's a bit unfair. Safety car's out. I've panicked. I've not come in because it was a late safety car call, and I panicked about what on earth I'm meant to be doing here. As Paul Aaron is disqualified, I've stayed out because I've got decision fatigue of I don't know what to do, because Gasly and both Ferraris are in, but I didn't have a medium available to me. At least that's what I thought. At the first pit stop, it gave me the choice of soft or hard. No medium. Now it's telling me to do a soft to medium strategy, and I'm thinking, hang on, how? And you can see there was a used medium. Where has that come from? Where was that in my first pit stop? That wasn't available to me in my first pit stop. I don't know why it's now. I'm going to come in because I, learn from the McLaren mistakes. Never not take a free pit stop. Even though we've lost out at this advantage, we are going to go lower than where we were because we took that extra lap on the safety car. But I still think it's worth coming in for the free pit stop. And we are going onto a used set of mediums. Now, I was worried, did the used set mean it was the first set I used in the race? Thankfully, no. It's a set that's only got 6-7%, but now I've got an even bigger question of where was this set in the first pit stop? I don't understand how this set was not available to me in the first pit stop. We're never going to know. It's too late now. We're 13th place. It's better than last place if we had come in after the safety car. So it's better than nothing. But we have been done over a little bit by the late safety car call and my indecision. But I really just wasn't really sure. And I didn't want to send it into the pits and go onto softs, out of just, let's just go in straight away. So that's ended up me being 13th place. But we're on mediums. Everyone else on hard. So really, I actually might be pretty good. I might have to do some overtaking, but I actually think we're on the better race tyre for the end of the race because there's only a last stint here, I think, and I think we can go to the end on mediums. And for the second safety car of the day, restart I should say, we find ourselves right up behind a Williams Porsche. It was Aaron in the first safety car restart. Now it's Tsunoda. We haven't quite got the same jump on him, but can we send it to the inside? Because using that medium tyre advantage, the initial grip is going to be there, and we're able to dance this thing around. Well, one of our seemingly arch rivals of this season it's become, where Tsunoda obviously was the driver that crashed us out viciously at the Monaco Grand Prix, and unlike him, we're not going to be a little bit nasty. We're not going to do anything funny driving as Antonelli, the driver he crashed out. We're just going to overtake him because we've got bigger things to worry about, and we've got all these other cars to get past. We get doing into the hairpin, now gaining on Max Verstappen in the McLaren. So this is going to be interesting. Again, we're kind of sandwiching Verstappen with our own teammate of Oscar Piastri, who might be limping though with a car issue. I don't know. The last we saw, he was looking pretty slow, but Piastri's the one ahead. Barnard in the Audi he's up to 6th. What is going on? What is this race? Cadillac 5-6, Albon and Gasly now fighting, and those two fighting has given Ocon a massive bit of breathing room. We're only on the second lap after the safety car has come in, and Ocon's got nearly a 2-second gap. Is he about to go and fly away with this race, thanks to Albon hampering Gasly? Stroll's flying high in P4. This is such a strange top 10. Stroll, Martins, Barnard, Lawson, and obviously Verstappen P10. Hopefully we're going to make him P11 soon enough and out the points again as we're gaining on him. Piastri's actually looking okay now, you know, as we're using the battery into the hairpin, going for the move. Verstappen gives us no room to work with at the hairpin. He nearly pushed us off onto the grass. We had to really force that move through. But in the end, I think the advantage will go to the Dutchman because he's now got DRS. We're a bit defensive. We're going to give him a bit of a squeeze to pay him back for the hairpin. Contact made. We're going to be neck and neck into the final chicane. Verstappen's turned in on us. We clap the curb. We jump over the Renault. The Renault's up in the air. What the? Audi's out as well. Oh my days. Red flag. Red flag. Yet again, another car upside down. This time it's the Renault. I think Tsunoda got caught up in that as well. Let's look at a replay. We've got no front wing, by the way, so that's, thank God it's a red flag at least, but look at that squeeze. Verstappen, we nearly made contact with him into the hairpin. So because of that, I wanted to repay the favour a bit with a bit of a squeeze of my own on this straight. He obviously has DRS. He's going to fly by us, but we just pinch him a little bit of contact made. Then we actually close up again with a bit of battery use. Then into this corner, I've got the upper hand, but Verstappen's turned in on us. We've actually locked tyres and then... F1 ping pong with the Renault. Oh, wow. The Renault upside down. What a view once again. The Renault, seeing that, tries to skip by, but my bouncing car pushes him towards the Wall of Champions. And then he just blows up on his own and goes upside down. Tsunoda gets caught up in that. So Tsunoda, Verstappen, and myself, all without a front wing, and Tsunoda gets a bouncing Renault off his halo. There's also an Audi and a Cadillac that's smashed into the Wall of Champions. Maloney's in the wall here. And I think Crawford in the Audi also crashed, but this is the big congestion, and you can see there's so much carbon fibre off. Tsunoda's got no front wing. I've got no front wing. Verstappen's got no front wing. So we're all three of us quite lucky there's a red flag, because otherwise we would have all three of us been totally screwed for the rest of the race. We still might be screwed because I'm a bit concerned about Verstappen. He turned in on us at the floor, so we might have floor damage for the rest of the race. We're going to restart on lap 25, so there'll be 10 laps to go, I believe. So I think it's a no-brainer. Put on a set of soft tyres. We actually saved a brand new set of softs for... Well, not for this scenario, but I thought maybe there might be a chance of an aggressive last stint in the race, or maybe first stint even. In the end, it's going to be the last stint under very unfortunate circumstances of... We had an iconic battle with Antonelli versus Verstappen in Bahrain, the duel in the desert. Well, it seems like the sequel here has gone a little bit sour and is boiled over, as it were, as we go to lights out for now a second time under red flag. We get a good start on the softs. No one else on the soft tyre, I've got to say, but oh no. Oh no. We have spun it at turn one, and I didn't realise how much damage we have. Our side pod's got damage. What? I've never seen that in the F1 game. That's the first time I've seen that. The inside bit of the car, you can see in yellow, that's the side pod. You usually never get that damage. The floor, sure. The barge board, sure. But our side pod is literally damaged, and the floor is pretty much non-existent at this rate. So we are screwed. I thought maybe we could actually recover still, naively, on the soft tyre with 10 laps to go. And initially it looked pretty good, but then at turn one, hitting the brakes, we've got no sense of downforce mid-corner coming from such high speed. So I think we're going to have a pretty long day in the office now to end this race. Meanwhile, though, that's a Ferrari making it a 1-2. Albon just overtook Gasly there, as we have actually still managed to make an overtake on Carlos Sainz, such as how dreadful a race it's been for Mercedes. But it's going to be futile because I'm going to lose that position anyway at some point. But Lance Stroll, P4 by the way, still. Martins P5, Barnard P6, maybe 7. The Honda might come and ruin it, but this is amazing to see Honda versus Audi for points. The BWT Haas is giving up a good fight to Verstappen as well. This is crazy. P4 to P8 is an absolute mystery and a myth. This is unbelievable what we're seeing here of all these different cars in the points. I mean, it's amazing. It's to the detriment of people like me and the Mercedes today and Aaron, of course, who got disqualified. So much has happened in this race. I actually forgot Aaron got disqualified for that spin as we are fighting Bortoletto. I don't honestly know why at this point because I'm just trying to get one more position, fight till the end. You never know. If there's another crash, maybe we gain with a late safety car, but we're so far away from the top 10 and I have got such little pace. We're only making moves because of the soft tyre. Once that starts to wear out, it's game over. Lap 30, it's a 1-2 for Ferrari. That is unreal. And Stroll's just got Gasly, sorry. Stroll's up to third. Oh, late crash for Martins. No, the Cadillac team from Catalonia to Montreal. It's devastation for the American team. Once again, they have crashed out the race from a points-paying position. Martins hits the wall of champion. It's a very realistic crash, to be honest, because he basically lost the rear end and then smashed the rear end on the wall. So in real life, that would definitely be a case of you can't hit the wall that hard and not break the rear suspension. So he's out the race. So unfortunately, Cadillac will not be scoring points for the first time in Formula 1. But Audi might, because now we've got a safety car. I've come in because we may as well. I mean, look at the car on the right-hand side. The car is in disarray. The car is basically an F3, F4 car at this point with the amount of points of downforce we've lost. So we may as well come in for another set of soft tyres to try and do something on the safety car restart. It's basically going to be a case of overtaking Sainz probably into turn 1 and not doing much else, if I'm being completely honest. We're just going to try to get to the end. I'm just trying to save face, get to the end, and we can put this entire race behind us because it's been a series of unfortunate events. Ultimately, though, it's come from ourselves fighting with Verstappen, and Verstappen, annoyingly, has got up to P7. He's just overtaken the Haas. This is so unfair. How has Verstappen crashed us out, and he's up to... Oh, my days! Oh, it's F1 karma! Oh, you love to see it. Thank you, F1 gods. Thank you, F1 gods. We were just speaking about the karma not being there. Well, karma has come back to bite the Dutchman. He is out. It's another twist in this tail, and this tail is going to end with a 1-2 for Ferrari. They hadn't won a race in over a season, and now they've been repeat winners with Esteban Ocon and Lance Stroll. Hang on a minute. Lance Stroll has just got a podium in his home race. And Audi have scored a 6th place. BWT Haas with a 7th. What a mental Canadian Grand Prix this has been. What a banger. I mean, it's not great for us as a team. We're 14th. Piastri, I think, got some points, but that is a banger in terms of the race results in the top 10. And a 1-2 for Ferrari. That is, they've come under the radar this season. Are they the true people we should all be worrying about for the championship, I think?
Esteban Ocon takes the checkered flag.
There's still a long way to go, but these kinds of victories and that kind of consistency is what it takes to get to the end.
Plenty to get stuck into afterwards, but now the podium for our top 3 drivers. And Esteban Ocon will drink in this moment on top.
Well, we had a repeat winner last episode with Tsunoda winning for a second time. It's time for Ocon to win again. And you know what? It is time to take Ferrari seriously. Ocon leads the championship. I was too worried fighting Verstappen, probably a bit too much on track there with Antonelli, and we've let Ocon take the lead. I think that's maybe a lesson learned. Let's maybe cool things off with the rivalry that's been building with Antonelli and Verstappen, maybe Antonelli and Tsunoda as well after the Monaco crash. And we need to all collectively start worrying about this Scuderia. Remember, this team won 2 constructors back-to-back to start this series at the start of the game. They might be back for a 3rd championship here with the way they've been going. Crazy, crazy times here in Montreal. Guys, if you have enjoyed it, be sure to hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And if you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.